Welcome to today's episode, where we will be diving into how to make your salon stand out at the career fairs and attract top stylists to your door.
Yeah, so imagine this. Everybody's been to a career fair before. They're usually hosted. A lot of times we see in our area, especially in the fall, and you have this big table set up, and you see all these amazing students running to your table wanting to learn more. And so, if you want to create that vision, this is exactly what we're going to dive in to do is like, how can you really get creative for a career fair that so that you create that magic?
I love that. So, today we're going to talk about creative strategies to engage with students, fun ideas to grab their attention, and ways to showcase your salon as the dream place to work.
Yeah. And so let's talk about, first of all, like why should you even go to career fairs? And a lot of times I've seen this happen at career fairs, and Alinza, maybe you have as well. Is like you'll be at a career fair and you see the students like hopping around to every table, and then all of a sudden, as the salon starts to speak, they just almost like word vomit exactly what they're going to offer the student, and the student's like, "Mm-hmm, oh yeah, it's really good," but they've heard that same spiel like 10 other times. So they're like really not even present. And so like
Mhm.
the reason we want to talk about like how can you create or craft a incredible table or career fair is so that when students come over, like you're able to create that connection right away. And that's important because like when you be able to create that connection right away throughout their journey in hair school, you become top of mind for them. So when they're thinking, oh
Mhm.
yeah, it's time for me to start looking for that job, it's time for me to start crafting that career. Salon ABC, I remember that connection point I made with them at the career fair. I really want to be sure I check them out.
Yeah, I love that because, it is so funny. I've definitely experienced that same thing. And it's like everyone is just kind of shut down when they walk into that environment. It's like, oh my gosh, what is going on? There's just all this stuff happening. And so, truly, like when you're thinking about setting up your booth, one of the first things that you want to do is think about, like, okay, how do we set up a booth to attract them over to us? Because then when they get to us, we're going to have the next steps for that too. But when you're thinking about setting up that booth, decorate it like almost like it reflects the personality of your salon. Like you really want to make it visually inviting, whether you have like a banner or some salon photos, or like maybe you have like a recruiting video or some sort of some way that they can see, hey, what would it look like, what do the other stylists look like there, and definitely if a few people from the team can go, that really helps showcase, what it looks like, because people ultimately want to work with people that they either feel like they're going to fit in or that they aspire to be like. And so, when you can really reflect the personality of the people working inside of your company, and take people who are really high relationship builders, because it's just going to be a natural fit for them to be at a career fair and want to get to know somebody else, see what's important to them. And, it's going to just help attract even more of the right people to your booth.
Yeah, because it would be kind of awkward, like, if you were setting up a booth and your aesthetic is more modern, but at your table, you set it up as maybe more rustic. Nothing wrong with that,
Mhm.
but, like, really start to help that, student paint the picture of what it would look like when they walk into your doors. Are you using your brand colors? Like Lindsay was saying, or do you have your logo? And I think another important aspect of it too is to have something that can be interactive. People love to play
Mhm.
games, and so, like, we've seen things such as like a spinning wheel. I'm kind of done on over the spinning wheel though, but like, I've seen people where you can like punch a cup and win a prize, like just
Mhm.
anything that you can do to, create that connection interaction with someone. One time we've done actual style strategies for the students. So,
Mhm.
we help diagnose if they're spring, summer, fall, or autumn, which is part of our consultation process. And so, like, that has been a big hit. The last career fair we were at, we had
Mhm.
students lined up to get their skin tone analysis. And so anything
Mhm.
that you can do that's going to enroll them to kind of get a taste of what it would be like to be a service provider and a client at the salon helps them to see, wait, I can see myself being here. This sounds like the perfect fit for me.
Yeah, and if you're thinking, what is a style strategy? That's if you're one of our members, you definitely know what style strategy is and how to properly diagnose people. But if you're not, think of creative ways like skin, just letting them know what their face shape is. That's a thing that a lot of people inside of cosmetology school struggle with. And that can, you could even just say like, hey, with your face shape, like these would be some complementary colors or cuts for you. Even doing, a skincare analysis for them would be great. But truly, that style strategy like unlocked so many things inside of a salon. So if you want to learn more about that, definitely feel free to reach out to us. Hello at the PhDprogram.com or hello at salonbusinessschool.com. And we can tell you a little bit about it. And we do have an amazing course that really talks about, how do you dive in deep and really set up your team for success on that. But, thinking of ways that you can stand out, because everybody, like Jen mentioned earlier, is just going to be word vomiting on people what they have to offer. And, not really thinking about like, okay, how can we make this fun? We always like to do some sort of like a little giveaway, whether it's in the past, we've done things like we did cake pops one time and we said, pop in for a great career, or we gave 100 grand bars and said, come earn your first 100 grand with us. You can do something like that. Or Jen, you just did some really cool stuff at the last career fair that you guys went to. Can you tell everybody about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, we did hats off to a great career. So we were able
Mhm.
to get some hats on Alibaba that were branded. And because like right now you're seeing a lot of the trucker hats. So we try to also like when we're creating a career fair table, we're always looking also at what's in trend. And so
Mhm.
being able to present that at your table kind of draws people in. So we did hats off to a great career. We also did where they were able to create their custom swag bag. So same thing, like you can get some cool stuff on Temu or Alibaba
Mhm.
that's really cost effective. You just kind of have to plan ahead. But like you can get clips, you can get combs, you can get like have your distributor give you some samples and then have like a mini consultation with a service provider and ask them, hey, like what's your greatest hair challenges right now? And help them create their personalized swag bag. And so that way it makes them feel extra special because it's not just everyone getting the same swag bag. It's actually a personalized touch. And I think when people feel that personalized touch, it helps to create more connection with them too.
So amazing. Yes, I love that. And so once you've had those elements that kind of attract them into your booth, then the next thing would be to really just get clear about what it is that they are looking for in their potential salon home, because they're going to go to every other booth and they're just going to start telling them stuff and, they don't even know what's important to them. So it would be like if a guest came in to your chair and, you just started saying, you this, and that, and like you haven't asked them any questions or gotten to know them or created that connection. And so once you've done all these fun things inside of your booth. Now the person has come over. Now it's time to create connection. So don't just start off telling them about you, get to know them. So ask them, a couple of questions like what made you choose the beauty industry, what's your favorite thing that you've done in school so far or that you're learning about, and then what are you looking for in a salon home or in a career. So really setting that up to ask them what's most important to them before you dive into anything about you, because first of all, they're not going to trust you until you've started to kind of develop that relationship with them and started to create some connection. So then whatever they say, if they're like, hey, education is one of the most important things to me. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to tell you about the education that we offer at Salon ABC. We're proud to have, some of the best education in all of the world. And, just letting them know some things about that and then asking them, is there anything else that's important to you? And then following up with, what it is that your salon offers and how that could, you know, how it could be a win-win for both of you in that situation.
I love that you said that, Lens, because it reminds me like one thing we always like to ask is because we ask it for our clients too is like, hey, we like to start on a positive note. What's been the best part of your day? And we've had actual students say, well, nothing good ever happens in my life. And so
Mhm.
it's a huge opportunity for us as well to say, like, they're probably a good person. They're just not going to be the right match for us because we do have cultivate that positivity in our culture and it's important to us. And so sometimes it's hard
Mhm.
to teach that. So I think like getting to know someone will help you know, hey, I think this person could have potential with us, or you know what? I know that another salon is going to serve them well.
That is so good. And, it's like putting them in that red, yellow, or green light category, like looking for, people who are yellow lights and above, if it takes them just a minute to decide, hey, that's okay, as long as, somebody can come up with something great because, you can have one bad thing happen to you, but it doesn't have to ruin your whole day. And if that's, how people choose to live their life, like Jen said, doesn't make them a bad person, just probably, you won't get the traction inside of your company that you're looking for. And so once you've kind of learned about them, then you can tell them a little bit about yourself, let them know some of the perks that you offer, what it looks like to create a career with you. I think one of the things that we love to talk about, because I think with Instagram and so many social media things, like there's a lot of people portraying that the industry looks a certain way, but it might actually be a different way when they, first get out of school is, specifically around like scheduling, for example, because on Instagram, they'll get on and be like, find somebody that's like, I do 3 balayages a week and I work, for just a couple hours and, I charge $1 million. And so my life is so easy peasy. But in reality, like we know what it takes to create a career inside of the beauty industry. And so letting them know like, hey, as part of our career path, we don't want you to work evenings and weekends forever. We want to create so much demand on your time that you can have freedom with your schedule, and so maybe that looks like you want to work Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 2:30. And that's an opportunity inside of our salon company. And we have proven strategies to show you how to get there. And so truly we want this to be a long lasting career where people earn six figures and, retire millionaires and all of these wonderful things. And we know how to do it because we've created it before. So if that's something that you're looking for, we'd love to set up, a shadow opportunity or something. At that point, you can start to kind of invite people into your space.
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned that, inviting them into your space because, like, after the career fair is really when the connection and relationship begins as well. And so, like, Lindsay mentioned this earlier, is making sure that you have some way that you're collecting their information, their name, their email, their phone number, their Instagram handle, their expected graduation date. And so, like, that you can really start to build that relationship. Their birthday, like, you could send them a birthday card. You could, follow them on Instagram after the career fair to say, cheers to a successful week ahead. May all the clients in your chair love their hair this week. And so I think you do have to continue that connection point beyond just having the career fair. Because in my opinion, the career fair is just that first connection point.
Yeah, I love that. And I agree. That is where you start that relationship building process. So when you have all that information, you have their birthday, all of those different things, then you can kind of come up with a game plan like, hey, you met a couple of yellow and green light people. And so you really want to nurture that relationship. So what's the plan going to be so that when it comes time for graduation, you are top of mind for them? Like there's nobody else even that's on their radar. They're not even touching them, And so I think, there's several different fun things that you can do. You can set up some sort of an email campaign to send the people that you really enjoy. One of the first things that you're going to want to do is invite them in for some sort of a shadow opportunity. And so, that could look like, hey, come in for a complimentary brow wax or blowout or whatever it is. You just want them to experience what it's like to be a guest inside of your salon. Give them that diagnosis with this style strategy, treat them exactly like you would a new guest, give them a tour of your company, introduce them to service providers that are working that day, give them a little map of where everybody's working at, what services they'll see taking place, and then have a person, whether it's on your guest experience team or a newer stylist on your team that can kind of be that connection point for them, just to make sure that they're, after their service experience, that they are enjoying their time with your salon, and then I think beyond, once they've done something like that, creating some emails that really engage with them. You could send them like a fun day in the life of a stylist at your salon company so that they can really get connected to like, hey, what would it look like to be a team member here? What are people experiencing? And can I see myself there?
Yes, awesome. All right, so we thank you so much for listening and tuning in today. If you know some other salon owner buddies that would get as much out of this podcast as you did, please feel free to share it. And we invite you to get creative, try implementing one or more of these creative ideas that we shared with you today, And before you know it, you're going to have the top service providers knocking at your door.